Tui, the woman who once orchestrated a cruel plot against Hoai Ca, is now about to be released by the police. A person who has caused so much pain is about to walk free, leaving many in the community feeling uneasy and confused. How could justice simply overlook such a reprehensible act? Is there a secret behind the forgiveness of someone who shattered another person's life? The community is asking, will the pain that Tui inflicted ever truly be compensated? And when she steps out of the police station, what exactly awaits her? Keep reading to uncover the truth behind this shocking decision. At the police station, the atmosphere that day was especially tense. The police chief had just finished a work discussion with the officers about an important issue involving Tui, the woman who had caused a serious incident in the past. The officer in charge was reporting on the situation in the neighboring village. While everything seemed stable, he suddenly remembered something important he hadn't reported yet. The case of Tui needed to be addressed immediately. All attention shifted to this matter. According to information from higher-ups, Tui would be released once someone posted bail. This left the officers feeling puzzled. Did Tui truly deserve to be punished for the crimes she had committed? Or was there a reason behind her release? A directive had been sent to the village, urging them to handle the situation quickly. It couldn't be ignored, but the question remained, why was everything happening so quickly? Soon after, the officer immediately contacted Tui's relative Tuan, asking him to come to the station for a meeting. The call from the police station took Tuan by surprise. He quickly agreed to come but couldn't stop wondering what had happened with Tui that the police needed him so urgently. Despite not having clear information, anxiety began to creep into his mind. He couldn't understand why Tui was being released from the police station without facing appropriate punishment. Meanwhile, back at the police station, the officers and the chief continued waiting for Tuan's arrival. An intense period of silence passed. No one said a word, but unease began to spread. Everyone knew that something important was about to be revealed, and they couldn't stop worrying about what would happen next. All of them wondered if Tui would continue to pay for her cruel actions, or if this unexpected forgiveness would change everything. When Tuan walked in, he knew that the call from the police earlier that day was his chance to help Tui, the woman who had caused so much trouble in the past, get a second chance. Although he still had doubts in his mind, Tuan couldn't bring himself to let Tui continue to face harsh punishment for a mistake she made in the past. He wondered if he was making the right choice by stepping forward to vouch for her. The police chief, who was in charge of the case, looked at Tuan with a serious expression, but there was also a sense of understanding in his eyes. He explained the situation with Tui. She had planned to harm a close relative due to a personal conflict. However, the plan was never carried out and no harm was done. This meant that Tui was only being charged with attempting to commit a crime, not actually causing significant damage. She had confessed openly and showed genuine remorse during her time in custody. After hearing this, Tuan felt a bit of relief. He believed that Tui wasn't a bad person, just someone who had made a serious mistake in a moment of weakness. He understood that everyone could make mistakes, but what mattered was the ability to stand up and make things right. While many people might hesitate to vouch for someone who had caused harm to others, Tuan didn't see it that way. He knew that giving Tui a chance to rebuild her life was something worth doing. When the police chief mentioned that Tui would be granted probation, Tuan felt a sense of relief, but there was also anxiety. He would have to sign the release papers and ensure that Thuy wouldn't reoffend. His heart began to race, but not out of relief, more out of worry about whether Thuy could truly change. Would she really learn from her mistakes? Was he giving her a chance, or was he unknowingly enabling someone who might repeat her past actions? Thuy, even after completing her rehabilitation, still carried the scars of her past. But Tuan believed that opportunities couldn't be missed, and it was only by giving others a chance that real change could happen. He hoped that with his help and the support of society, Thuy would truly become a better person, someone who could contribute to the community. Yet one question continued to haunt him. Could she really find herself again after everything she had done? Thuy was brought into the room with a look of anxiety, but also a hint of unfamiliarity. The long months in the police station had changed her. While the scars of her past remained, all she wanted now was a chance to turn her life around. Tuan stood waiting, his gaze filled with patience, but also worry, as if everything depended on Thuy's next steps. When she sat down, an awkward silence filled the room. Tuan, who had promised to help her through the difficult times, could now see the change in her eyes. She felt unworthy of the help, believing she had been selfish in the past, only caring for herself and forgetting about those around her. Tuan listened, not accusing, not judging, but simply standing there, allowing her to express her remorse and regret. Still, there was a part of Tuan that remained fearful, wondering whether Thuy had truly changed, or if it was just empty words. But what she said gave him some reassurance. Thuy acknowledged her mistakes and promised not to return to her old ways. That promise wasn't just words. It was a commitment to herself and to those like Tuan who had stood by her through the hardest times. During her time in the police station, Thuy had spent moments reflecting, and now she was determined to change. The officer standing nearby watched closely, following every move. They listened to the conversation between Tuan and Thuy, but the resolve in their eyes made it clear that no matter what Thuy promised, things were far from over. She would have to prove herself through actions, not just words. Once the paperwork was done and signed, Thuy stepped out of the room, the feeling of freedom like a breath of fresh air in her life. Tuan watched her, sensing the relief in her, but he couldn't shake his worry. Could she truly change? He wondered. But for now, the most important thing was that she had been given a chance to turn her life around, a chance not everyone gets. As they walked out of the police station, Tuan took Thuy home. In his mind, one question kept repeating: would she keep her promise? With a past full of turmoil, Thuy now held in her hands a final opportunity to change. But could she really start fresh? Her future remained uncertain, but at least she had someone by her side, and Tuan hoped that she wouldn't let down those who believed in her ability to change.